Santacon is arguably one of the most controversial events that takes place each year in New York City. It is also the subject of the new documentary, Santacon, which premiered at DOC NYC this week. The film explores the origins and history of Santacon, as well as its modern reputation for bad behavior. Let's take a look.
This is not the most wonderful time of the year when thousands of people dressed in festive gear hit the streets for the annual Santacon pub crawl.
Or as the NYPD calls it, the nightmare before Christmas.
Santacon is officially a holiday pub crawl these days to raise money for charity. It's also associated with out-of-control crowds, binge drinking, violence, and harassment. But the history of Santacon is much more complex, with roots in artistic and anti-consumerist subcultures of the 1990s. For more on the new film, I'm joined now by Brooklyn filmmaker Seth Porges, director of Santacon. Seth, thanks so much for being with us.
Great to be here.
So Seth, you wind up meeting one of the originators of the early iterations of Santacon. How did that happen, and then what happened from there?
Yeah, it turns out an old friend of mine was one of the original Santas and just kind of in hiding. He never mentioned this. And then one day it kind of comes out, and he also tells me, Seth, I have personally videotaped like the early years of Santacon, and he offered to show me the footage. And from there, I'm like, oh my goodness.
So it starts out as sort of a secret society of sorts on the West Coast. They're social disruptors. And then how does Santacon develop from that?
Yeah, they were kind of culture jammers. It's a group called the Cacophony Society. They also started Burning Man, the same exact people, and they were the real life inspiration for the book and then movie Fight Club and Project Mayhem in there. And they started as just like a lark, this piece of absurdist street theater. The idea would be to surprise and shock and provide joy and wonder and awe for everybody around. But eventually that novelty, the newness, gets old. The awe, the wonder goes away, and all that's left is an excuse to get drunk.
So help us connect the dots here. We've got this Cacophony Society, then Burning Man, then it develops into Santacon, and the film and the book. Help us understand how you try to connect the dots in the film.
Yeah, you know, really the key to this entire film are these archival home movies that I stumbled onto. I mean, these guys filmed like every second of the first 4 years of Santacon in 4 different cities. And when I saw it, the thing that really blew my mind wasn't so much that the Santas themselves were acting that differently, it's the people around them. There were always bad Santas. There's always folks acting a little naughty, maybe drinking a little bit too much. But because nobody had ever seen this before, they didn't yet know this was an awful thing to avoid. They were like, oh my goodness, what is this? But now we've seen it so many times that we're just like, gross, get away, cross the street. And it was really that sense of like wonder and awe in the faces of the people around them. That's what drew me in, and that's what I wanted to capture.
If I go back and watch Fight Club today, will it make sense to me that this is where it came from?
Yeah, I mean, the Project Mayhem group within Fight Club was Chuck Palahniuk, the author of Fight Club, fictionalizing his time with the Cacophony Society. You know, and they were these culture jamming, artistic disruptors in, of course, the book and movie Fight Club. Yeah. It goes a little bit darker. You know, these guys were generally pretty good people, having a good time. They weren't just beating people up in basements, but certainly the roots of what would become Fight Club all over this.
Yeah. So it has changed a lot over the years, as you point out in the documentary. But you do spend time with the founders and some early Santacon goers in the present day, and they do seem to enjoy meeting the current crop of Santacon goers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Frankenstein story. What happens when you create this monster and you lose control of it as it runs wild in the world? And so the movie had to end the only way, I mean, it just had to end this way, where we take these folks back. Dr. Frankenstein has to eventually confront his monster. And these folks, they did not want to go because they're like, I have avoided Santacon for 25 years. They spent decades disowning it. But once they got there, it's kind of this incredible transformation that occurs where that disgust sort of gives way to acceptance and then a little bit of joy and this feeling, I think, that, all right, Santacon, it's not for us, but if the kids are having a good time, maybe drinking a little, who cares, right? Like, fun is a good thing, and we should embrace fun rather than being those people who are saying, hey kids, get off my lawn.
Yeah, a lot of laughs and a lot of smiles at the end. All right, director of Santacon, Seth Porges, I want to thank you so much for being with us. And if people want, they can check out the documentary. It's screening on Thursday at DOC NYC, and they can also find it online. Seth, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest news and weather updates every 10 minutes and more. We'll see you then.